Credit scores, traveling. What the? Hey everybody, welcome to the Global Passport Crew, your YouTube travel channel for budget travel to international locations. Today, I know everybody's looking at the thumbnail, everybody's looking at the intro. What am I about to talk about with credit scores and traveling? What does that got to do with it? Basically, this is going to be more in reference to the travel cards, travel credit cards, okay? Credit scores is going to matter, and I'm going to talk a little bit more in depth about that and how this is going to be a money saver for you guys. So sit back, buckle up, and let's ride. Okay, let's talk about credit scores and why it's involved in traveling, because you want to get one of those travel credit cards. Obviously, there's some great perks to these travel credit cards, okay? But let me drill this to your head, and I'm going to drill it throughout this whole video. You have to be financially responsible. Meaning, if you use it, pay it back immediately or as soon as possible. Okay? Now, that being said, getting certain credit cards is going to require you to have certain FICO scores. FICO stands for the Fair Isaac Corporation. Basically, they'll take your payment history, your total debt, your credit history, and the type of accounts you had in the past, and they'll develop a score. The type of accounts, that's including like car loans, credit cards, mortgages, they compute all that and they develop a scoring system. Now, they have a scoring pattern to put people in various categories. 200 to 579 is poor, so don't even bother applying for any credit cards. 580 to 669 is fair. 670 to 739 is good. 740 to 799 is very good, and 800 and above, which goes up to 900, is excellent credit. You gotta be, generally to get the good credit cards, you gotta be basically 700. To be honest with you, to get really good credit cards. Now, does that knock you out of the running? No. There are ways you can build your credit up and you can get good scores. And you can qualify for these cards. It's going to take time, but I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. But let's get into the cards. Now, there's so many cards out there, I'm not going to go through all of them. I just picked like 3 of them. One is for the people with fair credit scores. That is a definite one that has some perks, not a lot. You can use that to help build your credit up. May get a little something out of it, but that's basically it. But I chose 2 at random for those that have good to excellent credits. There's a bunch of them out there you could pick from. You do the research. But this first one I'm going to talk about, it's pretty much a must, and it's a good credit card. I haven't had it, but after looking at it, read it, this will give you some advantage of gaining points. So let's get into it. Okay, this is probably going to be a little confusing, but let me give you an explanation about points. You're going to hear me talk about these cards and their point system because the points are going to vary between the cards. On average, each point is $1, and you'll earn those points when you spend that card, when you spend on that card. Some you'll get 10 times the points, like say for every $1 you spend, you'll get 10 times more per $1. So it really depends on what the value of that point's going to be. Some's going to be $1, some's going to be $1.25, some's going to be $1.50. It all depends on the card. So when you get the card, I would do some research with that company. You may want to call customer service and find out what those point systems are. They'll have it online on their website. You can just go look at it and do the research and figure out, okay, what can I do to earn the max amount of points? Where do I have this? What do I spend my stuff on to get those max amount of points? You can do that. But also, remember what I said about financial responsibility. I'm going to repeat this over and over again because a lot of people just don't get it. When you buy something, immediately pay it off. Keep doing that. And I'm going to show you another methodology that you can start earning those points. But again, fiscal responsibility is key when you're dealing with credit cards. Okay, first card we're going to talk about is the Capital One Bank Wonders card. You're going to get 10 times the points for hotel and car rentals. You're going to get 5 times the points for travel, dining, and gas rewards. Now, travel I'm talking about is booking your airfare or anything else that's travel related. And you're going to get 1 time the points for other purchases, like if you're going grocery shopping, stuff like that. There is an annual fee of $95. Okay, so you're basically, when you get the card, you're going to get a bill for $95. So just pay that off free and clear, and you can start using the card. Be sure when you get your payment, your bill, I should say, pay that off. Keep the card free and clear. Especially when you book your travels and stuff, start paying that thing off. And so that way you have that card just in case if you have an emergency overseas, you have that card ready to deal with any emergencies. Now, I want to keep something in mind for you guys with some of these cards. Don't know what the credit limit is going to be. So that's another thing. So be mindful of that, about your spending habits, okay? Yeah, you'll rack up the points, but you want to keep that card clear so you have the available funds to use that card in case of emergency when you're overseas. Because with cards that are fair, you're not going to have a lot of credit on there. You may have at most maybe $1,000, maybe $500 of available credit on there. So it's all dependent on the card. Okay, now this one is for good credit. People with excellent credit can use it. But here's the thing about this one. The cards that I've chosen, there's so many cards out there, you can choose whatever. Discover, Chase, American Express, whoever, whatever. I just chose this one card because I don't want to go through all these different types of cards because there's so many different ones and so many variations. We'll be here all day. But for people with good credit, just credit scores of 670 to 739, Chase Sapphire Preferred credit card. Great card. They start off with 60,000 bonus points after you spend $4,000 within the first 3 months of opening the account. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. But we're going to continue on. You're going to get 5 times the points when you purchase your travel stuff. Travel, what I basically mean is when you book your travels through the Chase Travel Portal. Now, Chase Bank has their own travel portal you can use to book your reservations for your flights, hotels, car rentals. Okay, you'll get 5 times those points. Now, what I usually like to do, and I did this on my Jordan trip, is I'll go to Google Flights and I'll look at the airfares for a particular for my Jordan trip, and I'll get the information and I'll go to the Chase portal and I use the reward points that I had there to drive down the price, and I booked it through Chase Travel. So that helped me out quite a bit, and I saved some money on that one too. So you can do that. You'll get 3 times the reward points for dining. You'll get 3 times the reward points for select streaming services, meaning basically Netflix, Hulu, YouTube, and some of the popular streaming services. And you'll get 1 times the points on other services. Grocery shopping, online grocery shopping, excluding Walmart, Target, and one more, I forgot which one it was. But basically, you're going to have to pay that annual fee of $95. This is another good card. Obviously, I'm used to Chase, as you can tell, because I had another one of Chase travel cards, which was good. It's a great program. I love it. It's another reason why I choose to talk about this card. Again, everything's going to depend on what line of credit they're going to give you. So when you get the card, pay the doggone thing off as quickly as possible, because when you go overseas, you never know what type of emergency you're going to have, and you're going to need that card to get you out of it. Okay, for you guys and gals that's done the right thing, had a credit card and paid your bills off, got that wonderful 800 credit score or above. There's many cards out there for you, personal and business, but you know what? I decided just to pick one because there's just, like I said, many cards out there for you guys, even the ones in the good category. The American Express Platinum card, the oldie but a goodie. Because guess what they're going to give you? 80,000 points if you spend $6,000 within the first 6 months opening the card. You're going to get 5 times the points per dollar spent on airfare. You're going to get 5 times the points on hotel. You're going to get 1 time the points on any other purchases. Plus there's a bunch of other perks and stuff in there with that as well. And the same with all the other cards that I mentioned. There's going to be other perks you're going to get as well. But here's the thing with the Platinum card, and this is probably going to be with other cards in the excellent category as well. Your annual fees is going to be way up there. $695 annual fee. Oh, lordy, lordy, lordy. Damn. So, you really got to be a high roller to have that type of a card if you're going to be paying annual fees like that. Now, for those who don't have those credit scores that I talked about to get these cards, all is not lost. Okay, if your credit score is bad, we can build them up. And I'm going to tell you what's been my claim to fame, and it's helped me build my credit score up, is auto pay. If you have a bank account and your paycheck is going into your bank account, auto pay everything, your rent, your mortgage, your car note, everything, light bills, everything. Have them auto pay. Let them take it out your bank account. The key thing is making payments. Sometimes we forget to pay a bill because things in life happen, we forget things. Auto pay eliminates that stuff. It helps you build your credit up. Let me tell you, it gets you out of the foxhole. All right? Do that. And also be a little careful about applying for credit cards or applying for this and applying for that, because it does affect your credit. Okay? Also, get things like Credit Karma, which is free, so you can check your credit scores from time to time. Notice if you build up your credit scores to where you can get that particular credit card, and sometimes Credit Karma will recommend you can get this credit card. Go apply for it. Okay? These are things that will help you build your credit score so you can start getting those reward points to those particular credit cards. It will give you those access to those credit cards and stuff. But like I said, auto pay has been the king of helping you rebuild your credit. So it's up to you guys. If you want to do it, some people frown on auto pay for some reason. I wouldn't frown at it at all. That would be the king lifeline to use to build my credit up. Just coordinate your payment dates with when you want your money to come out, and just kind of factor in how much you'll have left for the month to take care of what other needs you have to deal with: food, transportation, gas, all that other stuff. But I highly recommend auto pay, and be careful about applying for certain cards when you don't have the credit scores and stuff like that. Okay, guys, let's have this talk. First off, previously mentioned about one of the perks with Sapphire and with the Amex card. Different amount of reward points if you spend X amount of money first couple of months when you open your account. Sapphire was 60,000 points. Amex was 80,000. Sapphire was $4,000 for the first 3 months. Amex was 6,000 for 6 months. And I want you to think about it. You're going to put yourself in further debt for points. Now that 60,000, I didn't check with Amex, but that 60,000 would have accumulated to about $750, which could have been used for a flight. Cool. But is that worth it? 60,000 points, that's a sweet little deal. But is it worth it going in debt for a $750 ticket, basically? $4,000 for a $750 ticket doesn't make sense. Now, I'm not ragging on Chase saying it's a scam or anything like that. Not at all. You know, it's a nice little perk, because getting 60,000 points is a bit difficult. You really got to do a lot of traveling to earn those types of points. But at the same time, do you want to go further in debt? It's up to you. If you ain't got no debt, you want to do it, hey, go for it. You might want to do your own YouTube setup like I'm doing, and, want equipment and stuff. Go for it. Be your own travel blogger or something like that, or start your own YouTube thing. Hey, you may need that for that. That's perfectly fine. But what I'm saying is, don't dig yourself a hole into a financial hole if you can't pay that stuff off. Be a little careful with those type of deals. You'll get those points. Trust me, you'll get those points if you use that card properly. When payday comes, start paying that doggone thing off. If you have it on auto pay, perfect. Start paying that doggone thing off. That's the key. Making sure you're always paying it down and paying it down and paying it down, and not using it constantly. But if you do have to use it, make sure you put more than the required amount to get it down. That's going to be the key to get your points. A lot more than the required, because you always want to have that card available. You always want to be at 0 every time you use it. So it's like, if you use it for a month and you use about 100 on the month, you always pay that 100 down every time. So you never have to owe to the next month and stuff like that. That's why it's always free and clear. Because one thing a lot of people don't realize, if you go overseas and let's say you don't have medical coverage and you get in some type of accident, you got to go to the hospital, you're going to have to pay out of pocket. And you're not going to either get the service, or you'll get the service, but you're not going to be able to leave that country until you pay. That's why it's important that you have that card free and clear, so you can pay. Things like that, things happen. Now, also with these cards, you do have some form of traveler's insurance, which is great, you know. So you may want to check in to see what insurance coverage you have on these cards, so that way they can take care of that. A lot of things and a lot of perks comes with these cards, and be aware of those perks and the information involved in it, and whatever contact information you need to pull up just in case things happen. These are very, very important when you have these cards. But ultimately, best way that you can pay for your trip, if you can pay out of pocket, great. Pay it out of pocket. Don't have to use a credit card. The only reason I'm doing this video with the credit cards, because people do have credit cards and they don't have the money right then and then to pay for the whole trip out of pocket, or use a debit card. That's all. The best way to be is a debit card. It's going to come directly out of your bank, and still have money in your bank for whatever emergencies may arrive. But if you got to use a credit card, use a credit card and just deal with the cost later. Also, with these credit cards, when you have good credit or excellent credit, don't go bougie, because a lot of people will do that. Oh, I want to fly first class. I want to fly. You know, this is me. This travel channel is all about low cost budget travel. You're not going to get the fanciest of fancy out of this. The whole key thing is to get you from point A to point B, get you into some type of hostel or hotel or motel, and just enjoy the destination where you're going to. It's not about living some glamorous life. Because trust me, when I went to Jordan, I stayed at a 2-star hotel. I kid you not. You looked at my hotel, it would be like, oh, this is, trust me, it was not. It was clean, it was comfortable, but if you looked at the room, you would have been like, oh, this is low, this is not dingy and this and that. But it was comfortable, it really was. And would I go back to that hotel again? Absolutely. Perfectly set to the neighborhood I wanted to be in. It was not far from some of the sites. It was dead in the downtown area of Amman. Great location. So those are things I took in consideration when I chose the hotel. So why I'm going to complain about it? Yeah, people want to live this luxury lifestyle and then on top of that, my time there, I wasn't going to spend a lot of time in the hotel because I was going to be out. And when I was not out, I was inside doing content creating. I was putting stuff, downloading it, making, my videos, putting everything down. I didn't care. I just needed some place to sit and do this stuff. Guys, be careful with these travel credit cards. Be careful how you spend it. Be reasonable and be wise in what you're spending it, because sometimes you just got to learn to say no to a lot of items, and just be cautious of what you're doing. That's all I can say about that. Because you want to avoid debt. Because right now, economically right now, you're dealing with a lot of stuff. So the less debt you have, the better your life will be. But if you want to travel, you want to just relieve your mind, have, get the stress of what you're dealing with in life, feel like you need to get out of the country, we're going to do this at a low cost, low budget. You're just going to have to expect the type of lack of luxury that you're going to be expecting. You need a credit card to do that. Follow these tips. Get your credit card. Do everything on a low budget so you can go outside of this country and enjoy what's out there. Hi, I hope this episode gave you some great insight or great information for you to use on your next travels globally. And I thank you for watching this episode. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. Also click that like button. Until next time, safe travels, everyone.